He's never had a good word for me. For Christ's sake, he never touches safe. Good God. So anyway, we want a really, Deanston's character is really light. So we want something, again, these stills will contribute to that, and you can start to see, the picture doesn't give you a massive sense of scale, really wide bodies. You've got a really big boiling ball in the neck, quite wide necks, tall stills, and you can see these massively long lie pipes. So we're really starting to make that spirit work, that vapour work hard, take it along to the condenser and down. So what that then starts to give us again is something really light and fruity with a slight malty note to it. A really nice unique spirit, a really quite mineral unique spirit, and it's in huge demand across the industry. Deanston unique spirit we probably sell or trade more than we actually keep for ourselves. So it's a beautiful unique. So where do we go from there once we've got to the unique? So point at the screen, we hand fill in sight. So the unique spirit will go up to the warehousing vat, and it will be filled up again. Everything is hand filled. There is no automation in this process whatsoever. Deanston really lends itself to first and second fill bourbon barrels. So most of what will go set aside for single malt whisky from Deanston will go into first or second bourbon. Now that really light, fruity, sweet spirit, you can start to imagine, you can just tell it will go beautifully with bourbon. It will go with the sweetness of bourbon, it goes with the vanilla notes of bourbon. It works incredibly well with bourbon casks. So we put an awful lot down, lay an awful lot down in bourbon. And from there, it will go for the big sleep. Now, what's the minimum? Michael, just don't answer the question. Michael's been answering questions all day. He's been the tour up 3 times with me. How long must the stay in cask minimum to be a Scotch whisky? 3 years, spot on. Now I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, we established that earlier. So I leave it for 3 years and 1 day just in case a leap year creeps up and it's, it's just something daft. So I leave it in there for 3 years and 1 day. And where do we keep it? Well, we keep it in a warehouse the likes of which you will never see. Never see anywhere in the planet. This is beautiful, this building. So we keep it in the old weaving shed. Warehouse 2. And look at it, it is just absolutely glorious. It was a purpose-built warehouse, so. But this is just something special. So in Scotland, would you believe, you'll probably be surprised to learn that in Scotland we have quite a damp climate. Let's just cut to the chase, it shits with rain for 360 days a year. So we have quite a damp climate, and quite a cool climate. And this building was purposely designed to hold looms. If you look up to the kind of centre left, you'll see a circle in the ceiling. So those were skylights, they let natural light in. And 1,500 people worked in this area weaving cloth. Now, the one thing you don't want to get when you're weaving cloth is the cloth wet. So as people work and work really hard, they sweat and they give off. The sweat will leave them, it will raise, it will hit the cool ceiling and it will condense. So these were purposely designed, bearing in mind this was built at the turn of the 19th century, for the sweat to run down to the edge of the vaults and down the columns and puddle on the floor, and that kept the cloth dry. We store in the Dunnage style. So the Dunnage style means that we only go 3 high. Now this is a terribly misleading picture, because the casks in the foreground actually look as though they're a bit hitting the roof, when in fact they're not, they're nowhere close. We could get double that on top. But what we purposely do with the Dunnage style is that it will allow a very low temperature differential between the top and the bottom cask here. So there's only 7 feet perhaps between the top and bottom cask. It will let air move freely around about the cask, and it will allow the whisky then to mature in the best conditions possible. This building will probably get no warmer than about 5 Celsius. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. Beautiful, nice, damp conditions, cool damp conditions, which are the far and away the superior conditions you'll get for maturing whisky. And we will leave it there for the 3 years and 1 day. Now, that's not really the end of the story with this building, because you get, well, it would occur to me, it might not occur to everyone else, I don't know. What's it look like in the roof? You know? Because back in the day, again, there was no natural sound insulation bar thick walls, okay? So, I was lucky enough is my distillery, I can go where I like, it's not about luck, you just know where you go. So, that's what it looks like from above, which is, bear in mind people, this was built at the turn of the 19th century, it's beautiful. There's a distillery at the back, and you can see where the skylights were. But you can see the pools, the vaults as they go down. 200 years ago, we tend to think of natural organic finishes in the roof as quite a contemporary innovation. You know, you see these programs now where people are planting grass and plants. And anyone familiar with the New Macallan distillery? It's built under a hill, right? Okay. We were doing that 200 years ago. It's nothing new. So what you would have seen here, you can kind of get a hint of it. There's a retaining wall. Goes all the way around. It's about a metre high, or 3 feet, I suppose, when it was built, because nothing was measured then. And it was covered with soil, and it was covered with grass, and the bits where it dips down were planted up with potatoes, with leeks, with turnips, with onions. So you could actually nip up onto the roof and make something for tea. It's a true story. Sadly, we have no surviving pictures of that. Absolutely gutting. There were major renovations and expansions done in the 1940s, and the soil was all removed and it was replaced with soulless bitumen and felt. But it's a really nice picture to share. You know, it's a really important piece of history. It's still there because you can kind of picture that covered in soil and grass, and God knows how they got up there and for the height, but they did. So it's a really nice story to tell. And there we are. That was Deanston Distillery. I think I might be speeding up. Or not bad. So, Deanston Virgin Oak really is our kind of introductory single malt. Deliberately non-age stated. So it's a blend of single malt whiskies in there from Deanston. So it's still a single malt, still falls within the law, still falls within the regulations. But some are younger than others. When the time is right, it is taken from its bourbon barrels, so it's all matured, initial fermentation in the head. Initial maturation is in bourbon wood. It's then taken out and finished for up to 6 to 9 months until our master blender is comfortable, it's ready. And it goes into virgin wood, so nothing else has been in that wood. So what it starts to do is soften and round those young edges, and it will give it a lovely hint of, just a lovely rounded hint of vanilla, a nice sweetness to it. Now the thing that's synonymous to me in the nose and in the palate with Deanston's honey, I would like to think that the first thing you will get in the nose is honey. There's a wee bit of spice to it, a little bit of maltiness to it. On the palate, a wee hint of caramel, with that accompanying honey and sweetness. It works incredibly well. But listen, again, you've all got noses in your face and tongues in your mouth. Give it a go. Tell me what you think. And I'll have another drink of cola.
Apples and nutmeg.
Apples and nutmeg. It's the subjectivity of whiskey. No one's wrong. And I'm rarely right, according to my wife. So.
What's the proof on this?
Now there's a story. That's a great question. So, the proof is in the pudding. It's 46.3% ABV.
This is 46?
Yeah. So, if you double that up, so because I'm rubbish at sums, 92.6, is that right? 46.3, 92.6.
This one is 46.3 as well.
We're all 46.3.
They're all 46.3.
Yeah. So, before we go on to the last single malt, and while you're enjoying that, I'll explain to you why we do that. There are two very important things about all our single malts, and that is that we don't chill filter, okay? And we do not add any colour. We don't add anything, the horrible E150, no spirit caramel. It all comes from the wood. And because we don't chill filter, we have to keep the strength of the whisky up to the 46.3. It's the magic number for us. And someone will ask me, why is it magic number? And then I'll have to explain it. But even longer evening for you, haven't listened to me. But because we don't chill filter, we keep naturally occurring fats and oils that are produced during the fermentation process in the whisky. Some distilling companies like to take them out. It's purely cosmetic, that's all. So, if a consumer of, this has been recorded so I wouldn't mention any brands, I better not, may see a row of whiskies. If one end of the store is cooler than the other, the whisky may go cloudy. And that's simply because as it cools down, the ABV in the bottle is not strong enough to hold the fats and oils in solution. So they'll come out. It's no bad thing. It's fine. Doesn't detract from the quality of the whisky. We deliberately keep it at 46.3 because at normal room temperature and a wee bit cooler, it'll still look a lovely, nice, clear amber liquid. If you were to add ice to any of your drams, it will go cloudy. But that's okay, purely cosmetic effect. But why then keep them in if it's only for cosmetic effect? Why not take them out and just make everything pretty, drop your ABV, put less alcohol in each bottle and make more money? Because we're authentic, we want you to enjoy the whisky the way it's meant to be enjoyed. And keeping fats and oils in there, actually think, you know, it coats the palate. You get a much more three-dimensional appreciation of the whisky. I'm not bullshitting. If you take something that's chill filtered against something that's not chill filtered, slips over the tongue, down the back of the throat, fantastic. If you take one of our whiskies, you will get a far greater appreciation because those fats and oils will coat the inside of the palate and gives you that much nicer, rounder, three-dimensional appreciation of the spirit in the glass, I hope. You might be sitting there saying, Stephen, actually I don't. I think that's the case. So that's why we're all at 46.3, and a great point, and I'd actually forgotten to mention it earlier. So really two important things, non-chill filtered, and the colour is all natural. And again, colour creeps in because it's cosmetic effect. Some consumers might not like that one batch is a different shape from the next. They might automatically assume there's something wrong. There absolutely isn't. The whisky's fine. So, okay. So it's a cracking question, thank you, sir. Let us go on to Tobermory Distillery. I'm still keeping with the ironic feel. I think you're going with me. I think you like it. And it's the only slide I could bloody find. So. Now, Tobermory Distillery. That is it. Circa 1908. It was at the end of the village known as Leitchik, which is the repeated expression we'll be trying this evening. Now, it hasn't really changed much. The warehouse is over to the right. Between the warehouse and the distillery is the road that will take you out of the village, and it is an absolutely stunning location to go and work. I'm not stuck for them. I'm a very lucky man. I've got offices at all three distilleries, so I'm spoiled. It's great. And I get to come to Canada and talk about this stuff. Listen to your parents, honestly, kids. Listen to your parents. They really do talk sense at times. There's the view from the distillery, looking across to the other end of the village. Absolutely gorgeous, sitting in the sound of Mull. All the houses are genuinely all painted that colour. Pinks, greens, blues, whites, yellows. And again, it was an easy navigation aid from the sea back in the day, so absolutely gorgeous. And another quick snap of the distillery, just a wee bit further along. And again, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So, it's been a distillery with a checkered past. It's an expensive place to make whisky. Mull. It sits about, you're actually looking towards Islay, going down that way. Islay sits about 30 miles south. And the one thing about Islay is that it's got about 9 distilleries on it. So those distilleries can share the costs, transportation costs of yeast and malt and so on and so forth. So it makes distilling in Islay not a particularly bad proposition. Mull is completely different because we're the only distillery doing it. So anyone, supplying goods and services to the distillery is only coming to our distillery. So it's very, very expensive. So it's in a bit of a checkered history. It's been shut longer than it's been open. In fact, one of the interesting wee stories I've got about it is that rather than get the yeast supplier to bring yeast over to us on the ferry, which is hugely expensive, we've cut a deal with the local supermarket and they put the yeast in the back of their chilled wagon for us. So we've often got to get apples and fruit and loaves of bread out the way to actually get the yeast out. So we're actually sitting in a beautiful place to make whisky. Bit of a checkered past, determined to make a go of it. One of the first tasks I was given by the business to do when I arrived, was it to improve the new make spirit? Was it to increase volumes? Was it to employ new staff? No. They asked me to shut it. So I did. I thought that might have got a laugh, but it is quite sad. But we're still awesome, so we're still good. And it's been closed for the past 2 years. And that's a function of how expensive it is to make whisky and mull, because the cheapest way to make it is to make it foot to the floor. Make as much as you can, and that keeps production costs down. But sadly, if you're making more than you're selling, you get to a point of critical mass. You've no choice. You've got to take a business decision, and you've got to take a rest. And for a small community, because that really is that's your community there. That's your community. That's a bitter pill to swallow. So what we did was we thought we'd make some positive news, so we've been drip feeding money into the distillery. We have retained staff at the distillery to make sure everything's kept functional, operating, clean, ready to start back up. We're investing money in new fermenters this year, we're investing money in new stills this year. But more importantly, great news for a small community is that we kept the operators, the distillery workers that they had to lay off, we kept them in retention contracts. So we actually paid them to stay at home or go and work for someone else if they wanted. We'll pay you this for 2 years, but will you come back and work for us when we start back up? So really a good news story, something that sounds quite, okay, it lessens it softens the blow a wee bit. So a wee bit about it, it really is a tiny distillery. This is a 5-ton mash tun, so it's half the size of Deanston's. It's 1/3 of the size of Bunnahabhain's. A beautiful wee still, copper top, keeps the heat in a treat, and it's a tiny 5-ton mash. And I'm not going to dwell too much on about it. It's quite a robust character. Tobermory, it will take, if we want to be a bit robust with the mashing process, we can. If we want some cloudy work, no big deal. 4 wee fermenters. Now, don't take, it's a Scottish sense of humour. It must be the worst whisky distillery tour in the country. The distillery is so small that what you see through the doors of the mash tun. So when you start the tour, you can actually see the bloody end of it. So you'll just shuffle through 3 rooms and then you leave. Can we go and see a bigger distillery? No, we're the only one in the island. So we're replacing these this year. All of these are going. And this lovely Oregon pine will be replaced. I've done a deal, I don't know if it's a clever deal, I've done a deal with the Russians of buying Siberian pine. They tell me it's very good. But, hopefully I don't have family members turning up the bottom of the lake somewhere or something like that. I've done a deal anyway, we're buying some Siberian pine. Nice slow growing pine, very good for using fermentation vessels. And this is in recording because they cut the bit out of it, the Russians. I really am not going to defend anyone. So we'll be replacing them this year. Fairly short fermentations. Some longs because we're running a 5-day cycle again because it's such an expensive place to make whisky. And they will move on then from there to the stills. Now I just took a picture of that plate because the stills, a couple of the stills in there, as you can see, Bannister Copper Works, Duff in 1972. It's the still's the same age as me. That's the only reason it's that way. Nothing more. But there we have it. So there are the stills. Now, it's such a small distillery. The man's not in there for scale. I don't even know who he is. I don't know. But we actually can get a long straight line pipe from the still to the condenser. So, if you can look very keen, you actually see we've got to twist them. Okay, so you actually get it to fit in because it won't take the length of the line pipe to give the copper contact we want to give us the character of the spirit we're after. So we've got to kink it. And that adds a really interesting note to this dram. It's a peated dram. There's a citrus note to it, there's an oiliness to it. And that citrusy, oily note tends to be synonymous with the distillers who will employ a technique called purifiers. It's like a big copper tub of water the line pipe will pass through, and only the lightest fractions will get through. Heavier fractions cool, condensed, and return back to the still. Now we don't have purifiers, but what I can see from here is that because the vapour's got to work really hard, the twist will give just a wee bit extra in terms of baking. You'll have to work too hard, drops out, cools, condenses, heavier elements run back, and I think that's where we get that. You can't prove it, but that's what I think, that if we straighten those line pipes out, we would start to lose that lovely, oily, linseedy note, which I think adds loads to the mouthfeel of that particular whiskey.
And the spelling error is on purpose?
It was done. It was